Greeting citizens of the world. We are anonymous. This is a message to imams who lie and use Allah names to control the significant majority of Muslims. It must end. And this message tells what's really going on. There are about 2.6 billion Muslims in the world. 90% of them are Sunni Muslims, the rest Shia Muslims. Islam is said to be universal and therefore, Allah is the only religion. This means that all Muslims are required to convert all sorts of people to Islam, and here we have a very important reason for the Muslim migration to Europe that we're experiencing in these months and years. The thousands of so-called refugees, immigrants are not all repressed, miserable and poor people fleeing wars in the Middle East. They are also Allah's emissaries, that after the Quranic injunction must subjugate the entire world, in this case Europe. Therefore mosques' mission and function is not just limited to prayer and religious rituals. The functions also the physical and practical activities, has the overall aim to bring all of mankind under Islamic domination. Saudi Arabia's recent offer to build 200 new mosques in Europe fits in with the theory of an incipient Muslim occupation of Europe. On the occasion of this grand mosque gift, says Henning Dus, associate professor at the Army Officers in Denmark, as follows. In my opinion, one can expect a further tightening of matches in the future in Europe, on the political power trend's end to the civil war. Immigrant refugee has just demonstrated that they will decide whether they've free access to the European countries or not, and we have seen authorities merely adapt and their aides are free to act as both the fifth column and Trojan horses. This means that the starting point for our stains in Muslim eyes of the unbelievers is that we are going to submit to Islam. We do not, then we pay a huge tax. During the payment should we even be humiliated? As infidels have not the same rights as Muslims, even in his own country. It is considered to be second-class citizens. This has been true for about 1,400 years in all Islamic countries with a Christian or Jewish minorities. That's what we can expect, when we are numerous enough, a threatening phrase you sometimes hear also from Muslims living. The Muslims' beliefs about their own human and religious superiority. They build mosques anywhere in Europe, also in Denmark, and the worst is that our politicians and churchmen, with few exceptions, do nothing to prevent it. Both national and town councillors seem to have the conviction that because of our constitutional freedom of religion should see the Muslims' application for a plot of land to use for mosque construction, like any other building applications. They do not take into account that our 1,000 years old Christian culture may be jeopardized. Many Danish citizens are of the opinion that the Muslims slowly consume Denmark, and one of the means to achieve religious and political power is the construction of large mosques in major cities, where the concentration of Muslims is highest, for example, in Copenhagen and others big cities. Why do we forbid not the manifestation of an alien religion that works on completely different principles than the Christians? For example, Muslims' warped view of women, where women are basically regarded as the property of men. He can pick and choose with her as he wants. Among others, beat her, marry her away, keep her in prison, or forbid her to associate with other men, for example, in a workplace. He can force her to wear the veil. If the woman, in his view, watching another man, she may Sharia law is punishable by death, by stoning or disfigurement by getting poured acid on his face. The theft is punishable by cutting off limbs, etc. These ancient methods of punishment is contrary both lawfully and equal terms against the Danish constitution, but nonetheless, a significant majority of Muslims in Denmark that Sharia law should be introduced completely or partially. We are anonymous. We are legion. We are the boss of the internet. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.